welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome to the show, everyone.
Another week.
Yeah.
I think that when I asked for weird news this week, when I asked the oracle, it giveth.
Yeah, but I'm mad at the listeners.
He's got a bone to pick.
Why does Betsy get all the news shows?
Listen, I got people in low places.
Seriously. I'm friendly. I'm cordial.
You are.
And they still give you the stuffs.
Well,
Yeah.
friends in low places.
Yeah.
It's all about the caliber of friends that I that I associate with. And my story is indicative of that. My story hails from the great state of Oregon.
Ooh.
Oregon man, Oregon dad, to be more specific.
Oregonian?
An Oregonian father.
Is that the right way to say it? Oregonian?
Yeah, probably. Admitted to staging a home invasion robbery to cover up his $740 theft. So
extreme amount of money.
So this is a story with a happy ending.
He stole a paycheck.
Yeah. This is a story with a happy ending. In only one way. An Oregon man has admitted to stealing his daughter's Girl Scout cookie money to pay for an erotic massage.
So it had a happy ending.
Happy ending.
Oh my gosh. Me rub you wrong time.
Brian Couture, 40, pleaded guilty on Monday to...
Is he married too?
I don't know. He pleaded guilty on Monday to initiating a false report. He was put on probation, fined $100, and ordered to perform 80 hours of community service.
Hold on. I want to know how this played out. So,
listen, it's going to tell us. Back in March, Couture of Forest Grove called 911 to report that someone had entered his home through a sliding glass door and fought with him before fleeing. Someone came in, and we got into a tussle, and he...
I laid down on my belly.
And he fled.
And they needed me.
And the police found the home...
That's K-N-E-A-D-E-D.
The police found the home ransacked and spotted with blood. Couture told officers the assailant stole $740 of his daughter's Girl Scout money from a jar. Later, investigators spotted inconsistencies in his story.
Yeah, like cookies don't add up to $740.
Oh, they probably do. These Girl Scouts work their butts off.
Well, no, I mean, they would be an odd number.
Maybe.
There'd be like a change in there, a decimal.
Depends on how they sell them. But at any rate, his cookie caper crumbled.
The brownie massage.
The Samoa. The sexy Samoa massage. Couture told police that he stole the money from his daughter to pay for an erotic massage and faked the robbery when he realized that he couldn't explain the missing funds. The blood found in the house was almost certainly his. The Girl Scouts said that the group was working with prosecutors to recover the money. All right. Okay, so many questions.
I want to know how it started. So he's on the internet, and he starts chatting with
$740, and here we sit, wasting away doing a podcast.
Hey, I mean,
what did that take? 5 minutes?
Well, I'm sure my first time of erotic massaging someone would be slow, and probably the second, but eventually I will gain some expertise, and I'll quit crying. And then I could...
Bada bing, bada boom. You
I
could just
do for an hour.
Hurt him in or hurt him out.
That's right.
Oh.
Oh.
Second question. The only source of money that you have available to you happens to be, I mean, you can't go to like the pawn shop and pawn some of your own stuff. You can't, I don't know, pick up an extra hour at work every day.
We don't know if this is his first erotic massage. Maybe the house was bare.
Yeah, perhaps he's gone through all of that.
Is he married?
It doesn't say, but if he is, likely not for long. At any rate, you stole from your Girl Scout daughter.
Yes, for a rub and tug.
Oh, dude. The best part about this is that he made the news. This is the best part. Because honestly,
Did they interview him?
he's got to be completely humiliated. Completely humiliated. The Girl Scouts as an organization has got involved. They're going to recover the money. And it's out there. It's out there. His dirty little cookie secret is exposed, as he was. Anyway.
I had a couple of stories.
Stop it. Okay, what you got?
I'm going to run away with this one. Today, I am reading off the New York Post. I've seen this story on multiple news sites, and I throw a love at the New York Post today.
Okay.
Oh, this comes from July 17th. But a Florida man in May caught his wife in a moment of bliss with the neighbor.
Giving an erotic massage for the proper payment of Girl Scout cookies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe even for free.
Okay, check.
But so he stewed on it and stewed on it and stewed on it. So Alex Bonilla, he's 49. It sounds like him and his wife kind of split, and she moved in with the neighbor.
Oh.
She moved down the street.
Convenient.
And he stewed on it for a couple months, and then broke into the house while his children are there. Forced the guy into a closet where he tied him up.
Okay.
Took a pair of scissors. Snipped off his manhood.
No.
Yes.
Not with scissors?
With scissors.
Oh.
And then ran away, which in my mind is the best part.
Okay, first of all, it wouldn't just be cut it off. It'd be...
Depends on if he has good scissors.
Even with good scissors, they're not intended to cut through.
I've got a pair of scissors that we use out at work that is designed to cut through cardboard that is that thick. It'd make it through manhood. Now, the rough part would be, like me just thinking about it, I'm wincing. Imagine being the guy doing it. Like, I would be crying, cutting it off, because it'd be like if you yawn, and then it'd make me yawn. I would feel that empathy, even though you're boffing the old lady. Anyhow, so then he runs away with it. So I'm picturing Daffy Duck running, bouncing and kind of crazy, with a penis in the hand. It's floppy and all
blood all over running down your arm.
And he's down the street. That's what I'm picturing in my mind.
Where was he going? Where's he running to? Just away from the scene of the crime?
It's Daffy Duck. Does Daffy Duck ever go somewhere? But anyways, so the cops catch him, and
give it.
The
Spit
victim,
it out. Give it to me.
The victim,
give it back,
is still in the hospital.
This is not yours.
They haven't found the penis. So the victim's in the hospital. I mean, he's not doing too good, because he's lost that important piece of himself. The guy's ex-wife, obviously, now she has to rethink where she's at in life, and he's being held on $1.4 million bond.
So he's not telling them?
Aggravated assault, battery.
I mean, at this point,
there is not an actual statute that says cutting off a penis, so they're throwing all the violent statutes at him. And child abuse, because his children were there.
But you don't kill me. Just kill me. I mean,
seriously, and I mean, you're thinking that, and you don't even have one of those things. You know,
okay. At this point, it's a total loss.
maybe they can make fake ones, though.
Let's live with the idea that what is reality is you don't want it back at this point. I mean, it likely has been fed to an animal.
Oh, it's been through a couple gators.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Daffy Duck would do after he steals a penis. That wasn't in any of the cartoons I saw.
When I read it, that's what popped in my mind, because it says Florida
runs away.
Man cuts off wife's lover's penis and ran away. And immediately I pictured a guy crazy holding the penis in one hand, a pair of scissors in the other, and running down the street like a cuckoo person.
Oh, I can't even handle it. Can't even handle it.
But I wanna hurry up and indulge myself for a second. Remember we talked about the Dyson sphere a couple months back on the simulation theory, and that's where they surround a star with a computer.
Yes.
Well,
and the star actually powers the computer.
The star powers the computer, and the computer's so large that it requires all that power. Well, there's a star, KIC 8462852. Imagine if you had to bust that out real quick.
Why don't they just give it a name?
Well, they call it Tabby star. Or
what?
The person who found said star is Tabby Boyajian.
Boyajian, okay.
Or Boyoyan.
Boyajian.
Because it's Boyajian.
Okay.
Okay, Tabby star. Now this star, when they watch it, it dips in and out of light. So it gets bright and then dim, and then bright and then dim, and then bright and then dim.
Okay.
So they're postulating it might be a Dyson sphere.
Oh.
It might be
Who's
a
postulating
big computer.
this?
Haven't a clue. Smart people who know about this stuff without having to avert to 7 Google pages, I'm sure.
So they, instead of postulating that the star's just releasing puffs of energetic release, they're going to go with...
Or there might be a planet that's going around it real fast. It's right inside of that window when we're looking at it.
Right. So they, instead of that, they go to...
Because there are...
It's a Dyson sphere.
When I'm not watching dinosaur videos on YouTube, I commonly watch galaxy videos on YouTube. Because I am essentially a 10-year-old boy.
Well...
There is one star they found that has a Jupiter-sized planet, and the star is smaller than our sun.
Mm-hmm.
Has a Jupiter-sized planet that's the distance away of Mercury.
Whoa.
And it circles its star. If I remember correctly, it takes something like 32 days to go around it. And so that's super fast. That's Mercury, you know.
Especially given that how far away it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's super close. And they've talked about what it'd be like on that planet. It'd be pretty wild. And I'm surprised the star hasn't sucked all the atmosphere off, which those gas giants are mostly atmosphere. Though there should theoretically be something that holds the gravity in. But it's large enough that maybe its gravity overwhelms the stars, but then again, it takes super amounts of gravity to make a star. Ooh, all right. Anyway, so just think, what if
Tabby is an actual Dyson sphere?
What if it is? What if it is?
What would it be powering?
The home for the simulation theory.
The one that we're in.
Or someone else's.
What? We may have found the motherboard.
And we've been watching it with radio. And they're not getting any radio transmissions. But what if
Radio's so archaic.
Well, maybe. We think it's a universal one, but what if it is just a small blip in the evolution of communication? What if like lasers take over? Or, you learn how
quantum entanglement. We don't actually communicate. We are communicating. Quantum entanglement is wicked cool communication because it's communication
I have stretched
without...
my brain far enough right here, Betsy.
It's communication without intention. It's happening at its own resources. It is its own brain. We are quantumly entangled without intervention at all. So what if that is how it's communicating? It just is by quantum entanglement.
So welcome to the show, people. If any of you are lost like me,
I love quantum entanglement. Anyway, I'm telling you, I don't know if I jumped to Dyson sphere, but
the camera in closer to me because I just glassed it.
The shades closed.
Yeah, it's right now you're that lady that went to the jungle to teach the chimps how to do sign language. Mm-hmm. Day one. Yeah. They're just looking at you like, huh? Yeah. All right.
So today's show, it's strange because I think I had heard of this, but I hadn't really paid much attention to it. I want to talk about Dybbuks, and more specifically, Dybbuk boxes.
Dybbuks. Now that's
Dybbuks.
That's Jewish demons, right?
So it's Yiddish or Hebrew.
Uh-huh.
And
now Yiddish is kind of a mix between Hebrew and European languages.
Well, Yiddish originated in the 9th century in Central Europe. It's a High German-based vernacular fused with elements from Aramaic and Hebrew. But it's got some Slavic traces to it. It's kind of like Pig Latin. It's the Jewish Pig Latin. It's a little bit of everything. It's Yiddish. It's all together. So Dybbuk, meaning adhere or cling, is a malicious, possessing spirit believed to be the dislocated soul of a dead person. It supposedly leaves the body once it has accomplished its goals, sometimes after being helped.
So it's not a demon. It's a person who died, like the ghost. Like so if you have a Dybbuk box, don't make pottery.
Don't make pottery. The Dybbuk box goes a different direction. I don't understand why they call it a Dybbuk box, because if you look into the history of what Dybbuk is, this term Dybbuk first appears in a number of 16th century writings. And it is a possession of a dead person's spirit. That what happens is, if there's been some transgression or something is unfinished, this dead person's spirit leaves their body and then possesses another warm body to be able to perform the things that it wasn't able to do.
So, here's how it's going to go out. An Oregonian man in 30 years is going to die. He's going to cling on to a Girl Scout, and he's going to make her the number one Girl Scout cookie seller of all time to make up for his transgressions.
Yes. So fast forward, the Dybbuk box. So the legend of the Dybbuk box, first of all, it has reached mass proportions.
Well, they made that movie about it.
Right. So they made a movie called The Possession that is about a Dybbuk box. But the first Dybbuk box was discovered, or reportedly discovered, I think in 2002, by a guy named Kevin Mannis, and he coined the term Dybbuk box. He purchased this estate property, and inside the estate property, which it was just it was an eBay estate property.
So it was online. He didn't go walking through. He just kind
Right.
of bought everything they had.
So it was an estate sale, back to Oregon actually,
Ooh.
and the sale took place in 2001.
What if the guy was possessed by
What?
Rub and Tugger and wanted to be on the other side?
What if the guy is possessed now by a Dybbuk that did the Girl Scout dirty deed?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, the items liquidated at this sale were from the estate of a woman who had passed away at the age of 103.
Oh. Just like in the movie, it was like an old lady that
yeah.
he bought it at a...
So this is coming from the man who sold the Dybbuk Box, or created all of this hoopla. So the granddaughter of the woman told him that her grandmother had been born in Poland, grew up there, was married, raised a family, and lived there until she went to a Nazi concentration camp during World War II. She was the only member of her family who survived the camp. Her parents, brothers, sisters, everyone was killed in the concentration camps. Now, this is the story that came with this wine box. She escaped. This grandmother escaped with some other prisoners and somehow making her way to Spain, where she lived until the end of the war. While in Spain, her grandmother had acquired this small wine cabinet, and it's literally like holds 2 bottles of wine. And she had purchased it along with a sewing box and some other things, and it had been passed down to this granddaughter who sold it in an estate sale. Kevin Manus buys this. He buys all of it. He buys the wine cabinet, some furniture, a couple other things. After the sale, Kevin Manus says he was approached by this woman's granddaughter, who tells him, "I see you got the Dybbuk box." That's the first time that he ever hears.
So he doesn't know what it means?
No, it just looks like a wine box.
Had it been, English and not Yiddish, she'd have been, "I see you got the demon holder."
Right.
And he'd have been like, "Huh?"
Okay. So he asks her at this point, like, what is a Dybbuk box? And she tells him that when she was growing up, her grandmother always kept this box in her sewing room. It was always shut and set in a place that was out of reach from small children. And that her grandmother always called it a Dybbuk box. When she said, I asked my grandma at one time what was inside. She says her grandma spit 3 times through her fingers, said a Dybbuk and Kesselim.
What's a Kesselim?
The grandmother went on to tell the girl that the wine cabinet was never, ever to be opened. So, a Dybbuk, I don't understand why the grandma would say that, because a Dybbuk is it's a soul that possesses not it's not kept in boxes. It possesses people. And it's not a demon. And a Kesselim, now the Kesselim is a Turkish word, and it means vengeful furniture or malicious, like, this is a Kesselim contigo.
Don't curse my...
So it's
you just inherited a new possessed water bottle.
She called it a Dybbuk and a Kesselim. So, at any rate,
so
she tells her it's never ever to be
Dybbuk,
opened.
The box is the Kesselim.
Correct.
So it's a
blessed, vengeful piece of furniture with a Dybbuk inside.
Oh, man.
And it's never to be opened. So then the granddaughter then goes on to say that her grandmother had asked that the box be buried with her. However, as such a request was contrary to the rules of an Orthodox Jewish burial, the grandmother's request had not been honored.
Do you think the grandmother did that to try to protect humanity from it? Or do you think maybe she knew the Dybbuk when the Dybbuk was still alive and wanted to be close to the Dybbuk?
Ooh, I hadn't thought of it that way.
What if the Dybbuk was a family member from the concentration camps?
That would make sense.
We shouldn't call them concentration camps. We should call them straight up horror
Death camps.
death camps.
Yeah.
Evil camps.
So he goes on to ask her, what is a Dybbuk? What is a Kesselim? But the granddaughter tells Kevin Manis, I have no idea. He then asks her if she would like to open it with him. And she said no. Her grandmother had been very emphatic, super serious, given strict instructions for her not to do so, regardless of the reason she wanted to honor her grandmother's request. So Kevin Manis says he offers to let her keep this piece because it seemed so sentimental. Like it had this, he didn't know what a Dybbuk was. He didn't know what a Kesselim was. He said, I just offered her to keep this keepsake. And she was insistent and said, no, you bought it. It's yours. He said he went on to even say, I don't want my money back or anything. You can just have it. To which Kevin then says that the granddaughter gets really disturbed and yells at him, raises her voice and says, you bought it. You made a deal. It's yours. She goes on to say, we don't want it. Asked me to leave. So at the time, he just thought, okay, whatever. He says he owns a small furniture refinishing business at the time. He takes the cabinet to his store, puts it in his basement workshop, and thought, well, I'll just refinish it, give it a new life, maybe give it as a gift. He said, Kevin goes on to say, I didn't think anything more about it. I opened my shop for the day and went to run some errands, leaving the young woman who did sales for me, kind of his cashier, in charge. So he goes to this weird estate sale. He buys this box. He's told it's got a Dybbuk and it's a Kesselim. It seems really sentimental. He tries to give it back. She's like, no, you made a deal. You're keeping it. He takes it home, puts it in the basement of his small furniture shop, and he takes off for the day to run the errands. About a half an hour later, he says he gets a phone call on his cell phone. The call was from this cashier, this salesperson. She was hysterical, screaming that someone was in the workshop breaking glass and swearing. She says, furthermore, the intruder had locked the iron security gates and the emergency exit, and she could not get out.
So she's trapped in there with the monster.
She's trapped in there with what she thinks. Now, she has no idea that this guy picked up the Dybbuk box. She thinks there's an intruder.
I'm seeing a lawsuit.
Yeah. Who is it?
Now, I don't know how this is going to work out. How the lawyer's going to write, you brought a demon to my place of work and cut it loose.
Well, it's clearly a violation of workplace.
Yeah. I mean, does this fall under...
It's a hostile environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be it could be considered.
I'll be the lawyer. So did he sexually harass you? No. Did he curse at you? Did he tell you were doing a bad job? Did he use inflammatory language? No. He brought a demon to work. Huh? So the lawyer then takes off his glasses, sets him down. Let me get my paralegal.
We're going to need to get some more information.
Jose, come in here, please. This one's yours.
So he says when he arrived back, he finds the gates locked. He went inside and found the employee on the floor in the corner of the office, hysterical. He ran to the basement and went downstairs. At the bottom of the stairs, what he was trying to do is clear the building to see where is this person. This part of the story doesn't make sense to me because if there's breaking glass, swearing, the gates are locked from the inside, I wouldn't go running about. I would wait for the police to arrive. I would exit the building. I would say, the crazy guy's in there. But this is his story.
Yeah.
He arrives at the bottom of the stairs, and he was hit by this unmistakable odor of cat urine. I don't know why he describes it as that. I'm guessing it was like an ammonia kind of smell. And he said that struck him at first because he had never had any animals in his shop. And at first he thought, well, that's what it is. There's a cat down here freaking out, trying to get out. So he goes to flip the lights on. None of the lights work. And he investigates to see that all of the light bulbs in the basement had been broken. So
that's the breaking glass.
That's the breaking glass that she was hearing. All 9 incandescent bulbs had been broken in their sockets, and 10 4-foot fluorescent tubes were lying shattered on the floor. He said, I did not find an intruder, and there was only one entrance into the basement. Whoever was in the basement had to have come in through there. It's not like you could exit this basement. And had they left, he would have met with him head on, the intruder. So things get worse after that. So he'd already decided. Did
someone tamper with the Dybbuk box?
He doesn't say at this point, but he says that he had decided with this Dybbuk box. He didn't put it to the Dybbuk box at this point. He was just trying to understand how could he have missed this person breaking all the glass. At some point, he actually says, I kind of thought maybe it was just this salesperson creating all this ruckus and stuff. So he says,
she's trying to get workman's comp.
Yeah. She wants to sue.
And she kind of deserves it.
Yeah.
Because he brought a demon into the shop.
At this point, he doesn't know there's a demon. So he's already decided he's going to refurbish this. He's going to fix it up, whatever. About 2 weeks after he makes the purchase, he starts to refinish this project. He opens the cabinet that the drawers, so when you open the 2 front cabinet doors, the drawer comes out at the same time.
Okay.
And he thought, well, that's interesting. That's like it's very well made. It's very intricate in the way it opens. So he was excited to see that. So inside he finds one 1928 U.S. wheat penny, one 1925 U.S. wheat penny, one small lock of blonde hair bound with string, one small lock of black hair bound with string, a granite statue engraved and gilded with Hebrew letters that say Shalom, which means life. One dried rosebud, like a little wine chalice, and a cast iron candlestick holder that had octopus legs. So he says, I take everything out, and I think, oh, these are like family heirlooms, like this maybe, like children's hair, their first haircut, whatever. Maybe it's her first time she was given flowers and she dried it. So he puts the items in a box and tries to return them to the estate. The family refuses these items. Says, no, they're yours. You made a deal. They're yours. So he decided after opening it that he's not going to refinish it because it is really a cool box. It's not just like a box. It's like got all these intricate...
And that might be above his level of being able to refinish, too.
Well, right, because when you open the doors, the actual box, you can find video footage of on YouTube. The actual box, when you open the doors, it's got these mechanisms inside the doors that push the drawer out at the same speed. It's really a cool box. So he decides that he's just going to clean it. He's going to leave it in its original form because it is like super craftsmanship. And he notices that on the back, there's an inscription in Hebrew carved into the back. And he's not quite sure what it is, so he just, makes note of it. He takes a couple pictures of it and decides that, he's just gonna leave it as it is. So he takes off. It's his mother's birthday at the time, and he's celebrating his mother's birthday. He says, I literally hadn't been away from the shop more than 5 minutes when an employee comes running after me saying that something's wrong with his mother. He finds his mom sitting in a chair next to the cabinet. Her face has no expression, but tears are streaming down her cheek. And he thinks that she suffered a stroke. So she's not responding. She's not, he's trying to, bring her around. Turns out that she had, in fact, suffered a stroke. She had gone down into the workshops. She had sat next to this cabinet. She had suffered a stroke. She was taken by ambulance to hospital. And she had lost most of her ability to speak. She can understand things being said to her, but she could only respond by pointing to letters. And the next day, when he's at the hospital and he's, got these letters, asking her what happened, do you remember what happened? He says that she responds by spelling out no gift. N-O-G-I-F-T.
So the Dybbuk box is, the Dybbuk is speaking through her saying, keep all this stuff together.
Well, he hadn't said anything, but he had planned on giving this to his mother for her birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom, Dybbuk Box.
Yeah. She became even more upset when he was like, what are you talking about? And she spelled out hate gift. So he says at this point, he still doesn't understand this whole Dybbuk thing, this whole anything. And he laughs and tells her not to worry. And he says to her, I'm sorry you don't like the cabinet, and that I would get her anything if she promised to get well soon. Again, he's still not recognizing anything paranormal attached to this cabinet. He's like, clearly there was a cat down there breaking all the lights. Mm-hmm. Mom sat down next to the cabinet. Well, she's old. She had a stroke. And now, she's like, spelling out no gift because I wasn't able to give her a gift for her birthday, or she hates the gift because, she doesn't like the wine cabinet. And he's like, so he just tells her to get well soon, and goes about his day. So, long story short, he ends up giving the cabinet to his sister. His sister keeps it for a week and gives it back. She complains that she couldn't get the doors to stay closed, and they kept just coming open. She would just find the doors open, and she didn't like that it smelled like these weird, like kind of jasmine-y. It's had a jasmine smell to it. And his brother said, or his brother-in-law insists that no, that is not jasmine, that is cat urine. That cabinet smells like cat urine.
So men smell cat urine, women smell jasmine.
Yeah. So he then takes it back and he gives it to his girlfriend, and she says, no, I want you to sell it. 2 days later, she's like, you need to sell this. So he sold it the same day that she says to a couple. 3 days later, he gets back to the shop and finds the cabinet sitting at the front doors with a note that read, this has a bad darkness. I had no idea what that meant. And he takes it home. So he tries to give it to his mom. She has a stroke. He gives it to his sister. She says, smells like jasmine. His brother-in-law says, no, that thing smells like cat urine. Takes it back. And then he gives it to a middle-aged couple who drop it on the doorstep and are like, this thing has bad darkness. We don't want it.
So, what are you supposed to do when you get? Can you bury it in the ground?
Well,
I mean, that's what Grandma wanted to do.
She
wanted to have it thrown down there with her.
Yeah, Grandma just wanted it. I don't know if maybe Grandma understood that if you open it, bad things happen. This guy gets it, he opens it, he empties the contents.
The grandma, the original owner, knew. Like, she kept it away from kids, had orders not to open it, all that.
So he goes on to say that since the day he brought this cabinet home, he's been having these strange recurring nightmares. And he says, every night he has the same horrible dream. He finds himself walking with a friend, and at some point in the dream, he looks into the eyes of that person and realizes that there is something different, something evil looking back, something like a demonic looking hag, he describes it, that he's never seen before, looking back at him from the eyes of this person. So this box goes on in 2002 to eBay. This actual box.
He sold it on eBay?
Yes. He goes on to sell this box on eBay. With no reserve bid. And a complete disclosure.
So he wrote on there, selling this box, beautifully handmade box. It's lovely. It's got stuff in it. And by the way, I believe this box to be demonically possessed. To which it sold almost immediately. Would you buy it?
And it started.
Would you buy it?
No.
If you saw that, would you buy it? I wonder if I would. I would like to say no, because I've never been possessed except by cardboardo.
Pull up eBay right now. Okay. Little homework assignment. Since reading this, now I didn't watch The Possession, but since reading all of this about the original Dybbuk Box, my first thought was, this guy made...
It pops up real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
You can buy Dybbuk boxes.
There's only a lot. Hey, there's a cheap one here, $6.66. What?
Okay, so at first I thought this guy, Kevin Manis, made all of this up to sell this Dybbuk box. He just made it up. And made a ton of money on it. The original Dybbuk box didn't sell for that much. So I was like, okay, that's not it. Maybe he got the rights to the movie. No. Because they didn't call it the Dybbuk Box. They called it The Possession. So that's not it. Okay.
Lots of Dybbuk boxes. Some of them are rather beautiful, too.
Yeah. Okay. They say the most scary Dybbuk boxes can be purchased on the dark web.
Ooh.
I'm unsure how to get to the dark web, but I think it takes a VPN and a blah, blah, blah.
I'm going to look up www.darkweb.com.
And there are on YouTube, for those of you who really want to dive into the world of Dybbuk boxes, there are hundreds of Dybbuk box opening videos on YouTube. There is one YouTuber that I think he goes by the Paranormal Guy. He opens a Dybbuk box. Well, he's ordered many of them because he's trying to understand, like, who's creating these, why are they creating these. He doesn't necessarily believe in them, but in his first Dybbuk box, he has an EMF reader. And every time he puts the EMF reader to the box, it beeps. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep.
Oh.
He opens the box, and then it no longer does that. Something's been released.
Now it's in his house.
So he's on video, and a picture on the wall behind him falls to the ground. So he's like, I'm out. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
He splits.
You see me out front, hammering the house for sale sign in front.
Yeah.
Great deal.
And then all of these weird things start happening in his house. He catches like doors sliding open and then sliding closed again on video. And so he no longer opens these Dybbuk boxes in his home. But he has received several Dybbuk boxes since then. And they open them in like this building that's, not their house, so they can hopefully leave whatever is there. But a lot of these ones that you get from the dark web have zip drives in them with like images and stuff on it. And he said,
I don't want to see images from the dark web.
Yeah. He said at first he thought there can't be anything to this. He said, but
snuff films.
Yeah, but that's what he said. He said these things you don't want to see. So, people are creating these still today. And that was his next question, is how can there possibly be... First of all, they can't be called Dybbuk boxes. They need to be called demon boxes. And Dybbuk means cling or adhere.
What if there's... Like there's... Like that Jeffrey Epstein, he's got a thing for little girls. But what if there's people who has a thing for... Well, I'm sure there is for like torture and that.
Yes.
And what if they're making Dybbuk boxes at the same time?
So here's what an expert told him.
Can we do a better story?
Listen,
I want to talk for a minute about baby elephants.
Here's what an expert told him, because he flat out said, I don't believe in this. I don't understand what's happening. And an expert in energy work said these Dybbuk boxes or anything are filled with intent. And our intent is manifested into an energy that is being captured within these boxes. So when you're buying a Dybbuk box or a box with evil energy in it, you're actually buying the evil intentions of another person's energy. So you're feeling the true effects of captured negative energy.
Let's do the knitting show.
We're not going to do heavy metal knitting. We're going to go with like a Celine Dion knitting show.
I say we do it like Bob Ross's show.
Yeah.
We have you up there.
Happy little knitted socks.
Here's a happy little, what do they call them? Pearl?
Yeah. Happy little pearls. Yeah.
Welcome to Knitting Hour with Jared and Betsy.
You've got to be really quiet and happy little.
We'll be on NPR.
So Dybbuk boxes. I don't know. I want to create a Dybbuk box, but I want mine to be the opposite of Dybbuk box. So I looked it up. Malak is angel. I want a box. Melak is angel.
Melak was a Canaanite god.
Oh, well.
That
in Hebrew,
apparently,
it means angel.
You sacrifice children to.
Well, angels like children.
We're making boxes at your house, Betsy.
I'm going to create...
No, we're not making... I like my niece and nephew.
I'm going to create a box of all good intentions. I like that idea. I'm going to go to my grandma's house where all grandmotherly energy flows freely.
Remember that paddle she had? She had that paddle. It was a yardstick that had a big pillow on the end of it.
Yes, she still has it. Grandma's paddle. I'm going to create a positive energy box full of good intentions and well-wishing.
Yep.
And we'll seal it just like they do these Dybbuk boxes.
With a ribbon.
You'll be able to order them from our website. There'll be boxes of good intent, wishing you well. You open them in your house freely, releasing all of our good intentions into your space.
A love box.
Yes.
I like it.
There's got to be a yin and yang. If we can find Dybbuk boxes on eBay, we need to be able to find the opposite.
It's insane. I looked up, first of all, you type in DIBB or DYB, and Dybbuk box pops right up.
First
So it's
round.
common.
Yes.
And then just on my initial search, counted down, and this is just through a phone search, there were like 40 of them.
Yeah.
And the most expensive was $160. The average price was $6.66. Who is the demon who's making that up? That's bad juju.
So they're creating these because they're not all. First of all, it's not an ancient thing. Dybbuk boxes are, I mean,
Kind of new, huh?
really new. But they're creating these with ill intent, and they're filling them full of their negative energy, and then you're paying for it, people.
Don't do it.
We're going to make angel boxes.
Yes, angel boxes.
Yes. Anyway, so thanks for joining Dybbuk Boxes.
Thanks for joining us. That was a scary one.
Yeah. Please like, share, rate, review.
Yes, please review. Go on iTunes, give us a review. We've got a lot of people involved on Facebook, of course, and send me your stories. Betsy's address is
emphasis
Jared at Weird Group.
emphasis on the me.
Yeah.
So, additionally, we have come up with some T-shirts. We're going to be selling those on our Facebook page. This is what they look like.
Yep. We're gonna have and we're gonna have a drawing for. We'll have drawing in a month for the reviews. Do a review on iTunes. Send us a screenshot of that review, and we'll put you into a drawing to win a bag of merch. We're gonna have T-shirts, flags, hats. Yeah. We're gonna be making all those, and those are made in-house. Those aren't. We're not contracting those out. We're making those ourselves.
Yeah, and it's original artwork.
Yep.
Jared's drawn some cool stuff.
Yep.
The current one that we've got looks like this, and it comes in these different patterns. And if you have a pattern that you like, let us know.
Yeah, we can custom make these.
Yeah.
We can change the size and placement. We can do a lot of stuff. So let us know what you'd like to see on it.
Yeah. So thanks for joining. Don't forget, rate us on iTunes. Send us a copy that you rated us. You'll be put in for a drawing.
Throw us a rate and a review out.
Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Other new stuff is T-shirts.
Yeah, we've got T-shirts.
Got some T-shirts.
Let's have Betsy stand up and
let's see
model.
If you can see mine.